Let's go to Anna in Oklahoma City. Hey, Anna, what's going on?
Hi, Dr. John. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Of course. Thank you for calling. How in the world are you?
I've had better days.
Uh-oh. That's an old 90s like pop rock song. So let's hear what's going on.
Well, my husband and I are newlyweds, and we need help setting boundaries with my parents.
Oh, sweet. How long have you been married?
Well, we've only been married for about 4 months now.
Okay. How's the first 4 months going? Just y'all two?
Well, great. Marriage is good with him.
You still like
we're
him?
happy. Oh, yes. I fall deeper in love with him every day. So
Oh, gross. You fell
Nah.
deeper in love with him. Yuck, Anna.
No, he's good.
All right, good. I'm falling deeper in love every day. Hey, I think after 4 months, my wife was like, "Oh, jeez." So good for you, Anna. All right, so what's up? How
Yeah.
can I help? You got parent boundary issues.
Yes.
Tell me about it. What are your
So-
parents doing? This ought to be great.
Oh, man. Well, just to kind of give you context, my parents are very protective, overly protective, and just more over the years, I've seen how controlling they are. So when I was 18 years old, I moved out of my parents' house and just got caught up in the party lifestyle and drugs. And so my parents saw that,
Yes.
along the way. And I did that for about 8 years of my life. And my parents, that was just hard for them to see that over the years. But anyway, along the way, around 25 years old, I just kind of came to the end of myself and met the Lord and decided to, turn my life around, went to school, got a degree in my bachelor's in biblical counseling, and started working with women at a drug rehab. So I've
Awesome.
been doing that for years, and then met my husband along the way.
How old are you?
I am 33.
Oh, wow. Okay. Fantastic.
33. Yeah. So met my husband along the way, and these years I haven't really dated, just because I hadn't met the right one. And so when I met my husband, we knew that we were supposed to be together.
Gross, Anna.
So,
Gross.
I'm sorry.
All right.
So anyway, once that happened, I think my parents' expectations of how that was supposed to look, they wanted me to date for, a couple of years, I guess, before marrying him. So, I talked to my parents. I said, hey, this man, I know he's supposed to be the one, and so they jumped on the bandwagon. And so leading up to just planning the wedding, I had a discussion with my mom about just the finances. And I said, my husband and I, we're going to pay for it. You guys don't have to worry or feel the pressure about, with the wedding. However, my mom had said, you know what, we're going to go ahead and pay for it. We're going to bless you guys. So with that being said, 3 weeks before our wedding, my mom said, we're just going to pay for the cake. And so I'm thinking, are you kidding me?
Sweet.
And she's like, yes, we're just going to pay for the cake.
Why'd she back
I
out
said,
and change her
"You
mind?
guys-" Yeah, well, when I asked her about it, she said, well, you misunderstood.
Oh, sweet.
And I'm like, I said, Mom, I said, this is not about misunderstanding. I said, you gave me your word.
I'm so happy. I'm not really happy, but
so,
oh, geez. Okay, so they just paid for the cake, and then by the time it rolled around, they paid for the straws and the salt and pepper shakers, and then okay, so you get married, and it's 4 months down the road, and you're falling deeper in love every day. What are they doing? How are they trying to exert control over you still?
Well, my parents, they keep saying they don't know my husband, and so just to back up, my husband and I tried to set boundaries. We met with them, putting them or making a bullet list of just letters, or a letter of bullet points of things that needed to be addressed. And so they shared it with the whole family, the letter that we had asked them to keep confidential between all four of us.
What was in this? What was in this letter?
So it was just boundaries, basically, be kind. And also we just said we expect honesty.
Mm-hmm.
And we just shared our hearts, and my husband and I, we sat down with them. We met with them because I'm from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and now I live in Oklahoma. So we drove out there just to talk to them and share our hearts with them about everything that had happened leading up to the wedding.
Are they not? Are they generally not kind? Are they? I mean, were you addressing things that you had seen, or were you just stating things? Okay, so the things in your letter, the bullet points, were behaviors and interactions and relationships you guys had experienced already.
Yeah,
and so
I mean, even when we're
get your relationships off. And again, you're not 18; you're 33 for crying out loud, right? Yeah. You got your own job. He's got his own job. Y'all experience things, and then you said, "Hey, this is how we're going to go ahead and get this off on the right foot." And y'all bared your soul, and they went and told everybody.
Yeah, well, they said that they considered it a threat. And it was unbelievable. And I'm thinking, okay, why did you guys even tell all my brothers? Yeah. So now it's like so now my brother called me, cussed me out for about 30 minutes and said, you need to fix this. You've betrayed the family. And so my mom called me and she said, Anna, you need to come up to, Frisco and talk to the whole family without your husband. And I'm like, here's
the deal. Here's the deal.
Yes.
You moved out at 18.
Yes.
For a reason.
Yes.
And yes, you did whatever. You acted like an 18-year-old, right? And you acted like a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old. Here's my guess. Yeah. My guess is this type of pitting brothers against sisters and this type of lack of trust and this type of immaturity and acting like a middle school with a ego power trip has been happening your whole life. And at 18, you went and searched for some sort of connection. And sleeping with people and alcohol and drugs are chemically very similar to deep connected relationships. They're shorter and they don't last as long, and they come with a ton of repercussions.
Yeah.
But they make sense. Okay?
Yeah.
And there's a reason why college populations, when you take a kid who's been living at home, even in a messed up home, and you pluck them from everything they know, and you send them across the country, and you drop them in a box with a bunch of other 18-year-olds, that alcohol and sleeping with somebody, dude, it makes you go, whew, for a minute, and then you got to go do it again the next day and do it again the next day. But you have young brains screaming for a connection. And you didn't have that growing up. You were raised by children. And now you're 33, right? There's 10, 11, 12 years later. You circled back to include them. And once again, they haven't changed. They're the same people. And this is the heartbreak for you. And I'll lay it out systematically, okay? I'm going to be honest with you. Cool? Cool, great, good, grand? Okay. And you've grown up a lot. You saw the world a lot, right? You've got experiences a lot. And here's the thing. When you think back on your 18 to 25 times, you did stuff that you regret, but you also learned a lot. And I bet you met some extraordinary people, right?
Yeah.
And I bet you are more compassionate than most of the people in your life, right?
Yes.
And you also realized, there's just a more peaceful, better way to live, right? And so you've done hard work on Anna. And now you know what grace in a relationship looks like, and strength and boundaries and connection and being vulnerable. You know what those things are. And you met a guy who you're growing deeper in love with every day, who shares that with you, right? And by the way, I'm joking here, right? I'm like making faces. I'm kidding. Yeah. I'm really excited for you. So here's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done.
Yes.
It's going to be killing that fantasy that you can loop back and have it all the way you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Because what you're trying to do is collapse the last however many years and make it to where you're 25 and you're getting married again, and mom and dad are involved in the wedding, and your brothers and your new husband all hang out and go hunting together, and they play golf together, and they whatever. And that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because your parents are children. Maybe your brothers have grown up. Maybe your brothers are a little bit different and mom and dad put them in an unfair position to choose between them and you, which really stinks, right? And maybe going to have a drink with your brother, going to have some coffee with your brother, one-on-one, and just saying, hey, here's what we're doing, man. And they know your mom and dad too. They know.
Yeah.
Right? And they're either reproducing that behavior in their little families or they've grown up and it's different and they got put in an unfair position, right? Is what it is. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you set up your boundaries and said, here's what we expect. We expect people to be kind to each other, to not lie to us. We want to have fun, safe, laughter, joy-filled holidays together. We want to come down to Dallas, it's like a 5-hour drive. We want to come down to Dallas and hang out with y'all on the weekends. But here's the things, and your parents spit on your boundaries, man. And that's what they're for, right? To either be honored or set on fire. And your parents pissed on yours. And so now you got the message, right? You got your answer. Yeah. And I hate that for you. So here's what you got to do. You're going to have to be highly intentional about being around adult couples who are older than you and wiser than you and forming some sort of surrogate relationships with couples who are 10 years down the road, who you and your husband will go hang out with, have coffee with, go, I don't know, whatever you do in Oklahoma. I just feel like Oklahoma is a state of sadness, and so I don't know. I'm just kidding. It's a great place to live. All Texans are raised to think like, if you go to Oklahoma, it all ends, right? But I understand what you're doing and you're proselytizing. So you're spreading the will of Texas up into the north, and I appreciate that. But you're going to have to find some families who are going to be the grown-up, wise people who love you and love your husband and invest in y'all that your parents should be, but are not, but aren't. If I'm you, I would reach out to my brothers one-on-one. And by the way, 2 important things. Nobody cusses me out for 30 minutes. They cuss me out for 1 second because then I hang up the phone. I'm not going to hear that. I'm not going to listen to that at all. And I'll tell another grown-up, when you're ready to talk like a grown-up, we'll have a conversation, but I'm out. And then maybe a week later, 2 weeks later, for somebody I love, I'll reach back out and say, you ready to talk like a grown-up? And if they're not, then I'm not going to do that. I'm just not. The challenge for you is, and the second challenge is for you to not give over your integrity, not get over the growth you've had, to try to crawl back and make them okay. I want you and your husband to get the book. Dad, I forget the title every time. You know this one, James. It's parents. It's children of adult children of emotionally immature parents. Who wrote that book? It's right there. Susan Gibson, is that it? Lindsay Gibson. So, Anna, I want you and your husband to get the book, Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents by Dr. Gibson, Gibson. It's a masterpiece. It's really thin. It's wonderful. You'll probably end up highlighting more of the book than not. I want y'all to work through that together. And then I want you to reassess your boundaries, reassess who y'all want to be as a couple, where y'all going to go, what's the picture of what your marriage is going to look like, and y'all live into that. Your parents have opted out, and y'all have to grieve that. It's heartbreaking. I hate it for you. I hate it for you. And hopefully your brothers won't opt out. Nothing's worse than getting burned by 2 people who said we're supposed to love you. And by the way, you broke their heart when they were 18, 19, 20, so it's true, but they have chosen to not grow with you. They've chosen to be frozen. And I'm a rapper now because I just rhymed chosen and frozen. They've chosen to remain frozen in their maturity and their love for you. It's still conditional. It's still got strings. It's still got moves. It's still got, still keeping you guys off kilter. And here y'all are at 33. You got both feet on the ground. Go find a couple today, man. Go find a couple and reach out and start that healing process with new people, man. I'm so sorry for you.